Welcome to the Underground, my little underground with Peter A.
It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. This week on the show, we have Elise Okusami, who performs as Oceanator, returning to My Little Underground for the third time to talk up her brand new album, Everything is Love and Death. And Elise talked about her continued genre bending and her different approach to recording this time around. And we talked about how both of us are dealing with post-election day grief, dealing with mortality, and so much more with Elise Okusami, aka Oceanator, on My Little Underground.
My Little Underground.
Elise, great to have you back on My Little Underground for the third time. Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
So happy that you put out this great new album. Everything is Love and Death. Before we dive into the album a little bit, I know recently you did something that me as a native New Yorker has wanted to do for a while. Walk the Brooklyn Bridge.
Work was really busy, so we ran out of food early, so I got to leave work early. So I was like, you know what? I need a walk. Things are terrible in the world. I'm gonna take this little walk. So yeah, I had my camera that day and walked the bridge, and it was nice. It was a good day for it. Good weather.
Any moments of clarity?
No, I wouldn't say moments of clarity. I was too too fuzzy brained. You know, it was day after election and all.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of beautiful views. It was the sunset was going down, and it was just nice to be outside and with like around people, but not like needing
With
to
people.
expend any social energy. Yeah. And just
100%.
seeing all the people out. So, and the tourists, it was kind of cute. They were having, they were still having their tourist day, and it was nice. It was nice to see. It was cute.
What kind of got me through the fuzziness of that day, as it were, was music. Of course, I
Yeah.
went home, put on some great records that just happened to be politically relevant.
Like what?
KRS-One, Return to
Mhm.
Boom Bap. You heard that album before?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Deaths for the World to See. Descendants, Everything Sucks.
That's true.
Yeah. Like all those are just what I needed to hear at that moment.
Yeah.
When you're taking these long walks, it's about a mile walk one way. What are you listening to anything or just silence?
I did a podcast on this one
Okay.
because sometimes when I'm feeling really scattered like that, sometimes putting a podcast on just helps to have like something very specific, like, oh, I missed a sentence. I need to go back. I need to be paying attention, as opposed to being able to like think my own thoughts when I have music on.
Yes.
So I mostly listen to a podcast on that walk, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of like you're with people, but you're not socializing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just listening to them, just them having their little chat, and I'm just a fly on the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Everything is Love and Death. I saw you said that this is your best album yet. Why do you feel that way?
Well, I hope to feel that way every time I make a record, because if I'm not getting better in my opinion, then like I kind of feel like I'm just doing the same thing. But I don't know. I just think that the songs are um they're just some of my favorites. They're some of the most fun to play. Like, we've been having a lot of fun playing them live, and I'm really happy with the lyrics this time around. A lot of times, like, I'm I just don't feel as confident about things, and this one I just feel really good about it. And it was really nice to work with Will Yip on everything, and like kind of get his input on, you know, the songs and the lyrics. I wrote a lot of them like in the studio, and I would run them by, like, what do you think of this line? What do you think of this line? Um so yeah, just having that sounding board and his input on the actual songs was super helpful. And um I don't know, I just think they came out great.
Yeah. What do you think you've done well this time around compared to your last a few albums?
Um, I think that the I think you can edit out my big long pauses, right? uh, I think this one, because we had a lot of time, um, and I just felt a little bit clearer on everything going into it beforehand. Um, and then we did each one song by song, which was really cool. So we got to really like get into the song every time and like focus on every little part of it instead of doing like usually I would do like all the drums because I would have like a drummer come in and do it. But we did everything separately because either I was playing the drums or he was playing the drums, and we were going to be there every day anyway. Um, so it was cool to just get to be like really live in the world of each song while we were doing it and really focus on like all of its little parts and making it cohesive.
When it comes to instrumentation, right, of this album, right, you said you were doing a little bit of drumming, and I know you play guitar too. What else have your hands in studio wise as far as that's concerned? Did you Dave Grohl it all? Did you do everything, or what?
There's a couple songs. There's definitely one song I did everything. I played drums on half the record and bass probably on half the record, and I played most of the keys, all the guitars, um, most of the vocals. So I guess I sort of Dave Grohled it, but I can't drum like Dave Grohl. All the songs that we needed, because we were talking about Dave Grohl drumming in the studio, and all the songs that needed like hard hitting Dave Grohl drumming, that's Will.
Yeah,
And then
got it, got it.
I'm the like slightly chiller drum songs.
Right. When you go out on the road, right? Because I've seen you live before. You have your full band, right? So
Mhm.
how are you able to kind of articulate, I guess maybe in the rehearsal process or even live, just kind of nonverbal, how you want certain things to sound, or are you just confident in the musicians that you're working with from a live perspective?
Yeah, usually, I mean, I work with a lot of the same people. Um, and then like when a new person comes in, usually they're uh someone that has played with someone that's already in the band, usually. So, um, what I'll do is I'll give them the songs and be like, here's the songs. And then, when we get in the studio, if we need to make any adjustments, I usually talk like vibe wise stuff like in this song, this is how you're feeling, and this is like what movie you can picture for the vibe and stuff. But a lot of the times it's just like people who have a lot of the same background musical influences as me anyway. So like they kind of have some of the same instincts. And so like even when they're playing them slightly different, like Miles from Gladius played with us, for example, and he definitely has more of like a metal drummer vibe. Um, so his fills will be a little different than usual and stuff, but they're still good, and you just play. You kind of adjust to his vibe. So he'll play the song like the way it goes, but then he'll throw in his
Yeah.
little Milesisms, and they're in the right vibe because we've talked about the vibe, so it works, and we just all have a good time playing. It doesn't have to be every little part doesn't have to be exactly the record as long as like the bones are there.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, but the thing is, with your music, like you run the gamut, right? You have a lot of punk influences, a little ska in there,
Yeah.
but this time around, a little surf as well. I noticed, especially like Drift Away is heavy, very
Mhm.
like Desert Rockies, Sleep, Caius, the kind of thing. In the future, do you feel like you would want to make heavier music, or this is just one little like nut you're gonna add to your whole recipe as an artist?
I'm not yeah, I don't know, I'm not really sure. That one is definitely it's one of my favorites on the record. I and I got the baritone guitar, so I've been writing things heavier. Like,
Yeah.
and that song's actually in drop A, so I think it's the lowest tuned one on the record. But I kind of just write whatever comes out. So I have a couple other songs that are kind of in in that vein, like in the demo folder, but I don't know. I don't know if I would. I can't say either way. Maybe more heavy stuff will come out. It's definitely fun to play. I definitely like. I want to write few more songs, kind of like "Stuck" from the last record, because that's like always my favorite to play live.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't say really. I think it's just going to depend on what comes out.
I think as usual, I'm going to hear a lot of different type of stuff on your future work. That's just how it's going to be. It's not going to
Yeah,
be one way at all,
yeah,
which is what kind of makes you stand out. But when it comes to the recording process of this album, you spent a bit of time, like about a month in there.
yeah.
Is that your normal recording process, or
No.
okay?
Yeah, that was very different.
Yeah,
The other two albums have all been done kind of in pieces, where like we'll go into the studio. Like the last record that we did with Barties, we did like 4 days with him and got all the drums done and a bunch of the guitars and then like some of the other stuff. And then I went home and did more guitars, the bass, and all the vocals, but that was all spread out as well. Like I would go home and we'd do a few days and I'd come back up to New York, do my life stuff, go back and do some more. So that was another thing about this one, is getting to do the whole thing with like no breaks in it, and being done when we left the studio was definitely way different. That was really cool. I had a
why'd you
really
do
good
it
time doing
this
it.
way? Like, why did you like kind of go hermit and just spend an extended period of time in the studio?
That's, I guess, like when um Tim, my manager, was scheduling stuff. He also works with Will, and he was like, "Will wants to do a month. Is that fine?" And I was like, "Sure, sounds cool. I've never done it that way. Let's try it." Um, so I mean, that's basically how it happened. I just kind of said yes because you know he knows what he's doing, and I figured I'd let him take the lead on that. And yeah, it was cool. It was very cool.
Are you kind of in a period of time in your career where no is a four-letter word?
No, I say no to things all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are some things that
um,
you've said like absolutely not? I'm not doing that.
just vaguely, just things I don't really. I mean, like, there's a lot of things I have to say no to just because of schedule stuff, obviously. Like, there's some tours I definitely would have liked to do that I couldn't do because either like they conflict or like I can't afford it to take the band and miss work and everything. But then there's just like things that, if there's a I don't want to be specific, but there's just things that I don't want to do that I'll just say like, no, I don't want to do that. I think it's very important to have your boundaries and not do stuff just because like it's theoretically good for the project. If it's not something that you feel good about, then like what's the point?
Right, exactly. Like I don't see myself doing more than two podcasts that I do already. Right. Don't want to spread
Yeah,
yourself too thin. Got to
exactly.
set those
Yeah.
boundaries. That's right. So when it comes to this extended studio process that you've never done before, you kind of just jumped into. Um, did you find it worked better for you? Did you learn anything in this process?
I definitely learned stuff. I think I don't I like them both. I thought this was really cool because I liked that this was all I was focusing on for the month, really. Like I would go get up, um, drive to the studio, be there all day, go home, like eat food, watch TV, go to sleep, do it again. So it was like the daily, that was it. So it was cool to have the time to do that and to really like not feel not feel like I had to like I mean, we finished a couple days early even. So I didn't ever feel like the time crunch of being like, we have to record this now. Like we could like switch, be like, you know what, I'm not really feeling Like, there were some days where I was like, "I don't feel like these lyrics are quite where I want them, so can we just come back to it and we'll go to the next song?" Which, like, I tried not to do because we wanted to do all the songs, like, when we were living in them. But to have the, like, flexibility of time to be able to do that was really nice. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, I would love to do it again in the future. I don't know if it's, you know, if I'm gonna be able to take a month off of the day job again to do that. It was like it worked out in perfect timing in terms of, like, tours and stuff where I was able to, like, not have to go to work every day also. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it'll just kinda depend on how life goes in the future, I guess, but it was definitely very cool.
Yeah. That's a good title for the next album. Depends how life goes.
Yeah. I wanna stray away from this is the trilogy. I've been calling this the unofficial trilogy because for some reason it feels that way to me, even though, like, for no reason. But they all have the thing in the, nothing's ever fine, everything is love and death. Uh,
Yeah.
so I need to break away from the word thing for the next title.
But it seems like you're the type of artist that just you get inspired like on a whim, just going about your everyday life. Like, oh, that's interesting. I might do that. It seems like you're not overthinking a lot of your creative processes, right?
Yeah, usually, like, if I get excited about something, then I'll just, like, try to hold on to it and chase that. I'm not, like, I'm not and then I try to build the world around this thing that I'm excited about, I guess, is more than, like, being like, "Okay, I'm going to specifically make this kind of record now,
Right.
and these are all the things it needs to have to be that kind of record," I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Oh, of course. Of course. So conceptually, you're dealing with death, right? So, like, in your own life, how do you handle getting older and dealing with your own mortality?
Um, well, I guess I don't handle it very well in that I often try to just not think about it, um, and just kind of, like, do things. It's hard, it's hard. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. I struggle with mental health stuff a lot, so I'll go through these depressive episodes, which, like, I'm in right now, honestly, where, like, I just can't really do anything or have any inspiration or, um, you know, think about stuff or, I actually, like, to be perfectly honest, just got up 2 minutes before this because I just, like, could not do it today. Um, but when I'm in a good spot, I guess I handle it by just trying to, like, see friends and, make the most of every day and be like, things are I'm getting older, so things are not gonna be able to do certain things anymore. I'm not supposed to go running anymore. I have arthritis in my hip.
Oh man.
It's like stuff like that that's just like realizing like, oh, things are gonna go away and I'm not invincible anymore, like all kids are in their
Right.
minds. And so just trying to make the most of it and do stuff when I can.
Yeah, like I think about this kind of stuff a lot, but I think in taking action in my own life, just kind of like you said, just doing things, really doing things that you enjoy, buying that record, going to that concert because you
Yeah.
don't know what tomorrow is going to be, and just really just enjoying the little things in life, like walking the Brooklyn Bridge,
Mhm.
right? Just
Yep.
enjoying the simple things because again, you just don't know what tomorrow will bring. But generally, I'm scared, but I'm not afraid of getting old, if that makes sense. Because I
Yeah.
talk to older people and they're just full of life. I'm like, I gotta have that kind of mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's scary, but it's also, like, inevitable, so sitting around being scared of it and is not it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna happen either way.
Right.
So it's, like, one of the few things that I'm able to, like, not be as horribly anxious about. It's just, like, we all we are all gonna do it, so it's kind of
Yeah.
a it's a well, I guess I shouldn't say we're all gonna do it. We're all gonna die. We're not all gonna get older, and it's a it's a privilege of sorts to get to age. So
Right. But the thing is, like, one thing you could be grateful for, right? When you think
yeah,
of you make like such you make great music that people like, a lot of people like, and you
yeah.
probably feel creatively fulfilled doing this. So like whatever's going on in your life is like, I got Oceanator to really just get me through the craziness of life, right? Is that fair to say?
um, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if we've got like shows and stuff coming up. Like we have a show next week that I'm really excited about, and that's been helping to get to know that we're gonna get to play that show with and be in that space with all everyone.
yeah,
But like anyone else, sometimes you're just you got to find something else that someone else made, to keep me going. Like I found someone else's really great record or book. I've been reading a lot.
yeah,
But it's nice to have to know, like, to hear from people sometimes, like, oh, your record got me through this, your record got me through this. It's nice to be able to give that back when I've like
yes,
had that from so many other artists.
absolutely. And so Plastic Miracles, right? Your own imprint. I've been thinking a lot about. I've been talking about it like when I do going on other people's podcasts.
Yeah. Oh,
What are you working on currently with that
it's
imprint?
kind of in a little bit of a stagnation point, mostly because of money. Everything is
Yes.
expensive. So I was talking to a couple people about putting out like a little tape, and they're uh, there's nothing solid coming right now. Everything's just kind of like a maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. So still just kind of trying to figure that out as things with it get as like you know the backstock continues to sell, so we can
Yeah.
have the money to make a new one. Just kind of figuring that out still.
I would love another Plastic Miracles compilation because that's how I discovered Artisan P and Citronella Room, Buster Wolf, and all of them.
Oh, cool,
Uh,
cool, cool. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So another one of that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
I was thinking that the other day. I brought a couple of those. I brought some of those tapes on the last tour.
Yeah.
I like to have them at the merch table just to be like, here's this other thing. If you like tapes, you could find some other bands you like while you're at this show.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was thinking about how it would be lovely to do a third one, but it is a lot of work getting all that together. So
Yes.
um,
Of
if
course.
yeah, I kind of got to see how the winter goes, but I would like to do something like that again for sure in the future. I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff to fundraise for, and the other two, they're all it's all fundraise stuff. Once the expenses are met, which are pretty low because it's just tapes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I should try. That would be a nice project for the winter. I should
There you
think
go.
about doing that. Yeah,
Yeah. Why not?
yeah.
Well, Elise, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming on for a third time, and you're always welcome on My Little Underground. Just say the word, and we could just talk about life. We don't have to talk about Oceanator. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thanks for dealing with my crazy schedule. Kept having to be like, no, that day doesn't work. Yeah.
No, totally fine. Don't even. You have nothing to apologize over. It's all good. You did it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny, right as you were saying the thank you, my internet was like, time to die again.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. I told you
Yeah.
I don't keep people long.
Yeah.
I can
Shout
say a
out
lot in
Optimum.
25 minutes
Yeah, Optimum's 30-minute window of
of
working
good
internet.
internet.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. I
Yeah, thank
appreciate you.
you. Yeah, nice chatting.
Likewise. See ya.
Bye.
My Little Underground.